Your body is not a silent collection of flesh and bone drifting through life without awareness. It is a living community of trillions of cells, each with its own subtle sense of consciousness, responding faithfully to the mental and spiritual signals it receives. Yet most people, unaware of this responsiveness, spend their lives treating the body with neglect, criticism, or unconscious fear. They repeat phrases such as, "I am exhausted," "I am falling apart," "I never feel well," not realizing that every word is recorded in the subconscious, which then shapes the body's condition according to these instructions. This is the forgotten dialogue, the conversation you hold daily without conscious choice. Charles Francis Haanel explained that the body is not merely kept alive by the mind. It is shaped, renewed, and even healed through the mental patterns impressed upon the subconscious. To speak to your body is to speak directly to the subconscious mind, and to speak to the subconscious is, in the deepest sense, to speak to the divine life principle within. The Apostle Paul's teaching that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit is more than theology. It reminds us to treat the body as sacred ground, honoring it as we would a holy sanctuary, and to address it with words that strengthen, heal, and renew. Picture yourself as the captain of a great ship. Hidden below deck is a loyal crew, your organs, tissues, and cells, carrying out every command without hesitation. If the captain shouts disorder, the crew reacts in confusion. If the captain gives clear and steady orders, the crew fulfills them with precision. Your conscious mind is that captain, and your body is the crew. Every thought and spoken word is a note in the command log. The forgotten dialogue is simply the stream of instructions you have been giving without realizing their power. Transformation begins when you understand that your words are never empty. They move through the subconscious like sacred decrees, activating processes in nerves, tissues, blood, and bone. When you affirm, "I am strong, I am whole, I am filled with divine life," you are not engaging in empty hope. You are planting seeds in fertile ground, seeds that spiritual law ensures will grow in kind. This is the vision to hold. Your body is listening to you now. It longs to respond to words of love, strength, and order. It will reorganize itself according to the divine pattern impressed upon it by your faithful speech. In this first step, we acknowledge the years of neglect when you may have spoken to your body as if it were a stubborn machine rather than a loyal servant. From this moment forward, every statement becomes intentional and every word carries belief. Every word you speak to your body is a form of healing prayer. By reclaiming your role as captain, you also reclaim the authority to guide yourself toward health. This is your awakening. The conversation with your body has always existed, but now you choose its tone, imagery, and direction. You move from neglect to conscious command, from complaint to creative declaration. This is the beginning of healing. For many, silent suffering has become a constant presence, a shadow following them through daily life, tightening its grip, especially in the quiet of night. Doctors are consulted, specialists visited, and treatments tried, often bringing only temporary relief. Yet the discomfort remains like an unwelcome guest refusing to leave. Over time, this ongoing struggle creates weariness of spirit, making it feel as though the body is an opponent rather than an ally, as if trapped in a form that no longer obeys the will. Charles Francis Haanel taught that beneath this frustration lies a misunderstanding. Efforts are often directed at fixing the visible body without first addressing the invisible cause. The cause, he explained, is a mental pattern held deep in the subconscious. An image often unexamined that the mind treats as a command. If that image is one of weakness or illness, the body responds with complete loyalty. Illness, in this view, is not punishment or unavoidable fate. It is an outward reflection of an inward negative pattern. Just as a photograph cannot be changed by scolding it, the pattern itself must be replaced. This is why inner imagery matters. What picture do you hold of your body? Do you see weakness, pain, or strain, or do you see vitality, harmony, and balance? The subconscious responds only to the images and emotions impressed upon it. If fear, resentment, or hopelessness shape those images, the body will reflect them. Silent suffering worsens when you believe nothing can be done except wait passively for external remedies. This belief strips the conscious mind of authority and leaves the subconscious adrift, shaped by random impressions. Charles urged us to see healing as a creative act, not a passive event. You are the artist. Your thoughts are the palette, your words the brush, and your body the canvas. If you do not consciously choose your strokes, the painting remains unfinished, or worse, filled with colors you never intended. The first step out of silent suffering is not to force the body with fear, but to speak to it as you would to a trusted friend who has been misunderstood. Address your heart, lungs, nerves, and skin with kindness and certainty. You are strong. You are well. Every cell in you is aligned with the rhythm of life. These are not sentimental phrases. They are commands in the language your subconscious understands. Spoken sincerely in a calm, receptive state, they begin to replace old negative patterns with new, life-giving images. This is the bridge from empathy to empowerment. You have experienced frustration, lingering symptoms, and treatments that addressed only the surface. Now you are ready to embrace the missing element, direct, faith-filled communication with the life within you. This is not a replacement for wise medical care, but a restoration of the rightful partnership between mind, body, and spirit. When you reclaim your role as conscious director, silent suffering begins to dissolve, replaced by a steady expectation of wholeness. From here, we move toward understanding the subconscious as your inner physician, the one who has been listening all along, waiting for the true healing word. When Charles Francis Haanel described the subconscious in this way, it was not poetic exaggeration but recognition of a profound truth. Within you exists an intelligence that has sustained your heartbeat from the first moment of life, healed every wound, and guided the unseen processes of digestion, immunity, and renewal, all without your conscious effort. This intelligence, which Charles identified as the life principle or God within, is in constant communication with every part of your body. It responds instantly to the mental images and emotions impressed upon it, whether constructive or destructive. To speak to your body is to speak directly to this inner physician, who carries out every instruction with precision. Think of a gardener tending fertile soil. The ground is ready and receptive, waiting to bring forth life. It does not question the seed. It simply grows what is planted. The subconscious does not question. It receives, holds, and nurtures ideas into visible form. Plant roses and roses appear. Plant thistles and thistles take over. The subconscious mind is that soil, and your words and thoughts are the seeds. When in fear you say, "I am so tired," or "I always get sick in the winter," you are sowing seeds of weakness and illness. But when you affirm with conviction, "I am renewed in strength and filled with vitality," you plant seeds of health and energy. The inner physician then translates these seeds into biological instructions, adjusting hormones, guiding immune responses, and repairing tissues according to the pattern impressed upon it. Charles often emphasized that this inner healing power is impartial. It does not operate by human judgment or moral opinion. It is as neutral as the law of gravity. If you impress images of illness, it produces illness. If you impress images of health, it produces health. This is why Charles urged the conscious mind to act as a wise steward, accepting only the ideas it intends to see expressed. Once the subconscious accepts an idea, it cannot reject it. It immediately begins bringing it into form with all available resources. Recognizing this places great responsibility in your hands. At every moment, you are prescribing to yourself the conditions you will live. To speak life into every cell is to acknowledge that words are not empty sounds, but carriers of meaning and power, infused with the creative energy of the divine. When you address your body with specific instructions, your heartbeat flows in perfect rhythm, your lungs breathe with ease, and your skin glows with health. You are giving targeted guidance to the inner physician. The more vivid and emotionally charged these words are, the more quickly and effectively they are received. Pairing affirmations with mental images makes them stronger. See your heart pumping powerfully, your breath flowing smoothly, your skin clear and radiant. The subconscious responds eagerly to such sensory, rich impressions because they bypass doubt and speak directly to feeling. The ground where belief takes root. From this perspective, healing is no longer a distant possibility, but an immediate partnership, conscious and subconscious. Two aspects of one mind work together in harmony. Your role is to choose and plant the seeds. The inner physician's role is to cultivate and manifest them. And because the divine life principle animates this process, the healing potential within you is limitless. It is not bound by age, medical history, or external labels. It is limited only by the images you allow yourself to hold. The same intelligence that closed a wound on your finger, knit your bones after injury, and fought off countless hidden infections is ready now to restore balance wherever needed. It is listening, as it always has, waiting for the word of health, the decree of wholeness. As we continue, you will learn how to shape that word so clearly and with such conviction that the inner physician must act upon it with precision. Charles warned that the obstacle for many is not lack of desire, but unconscious self-sabotage. Too often, people rely on mechanical affirmations, phrases repeated without belief, that never reach beyond the surface of the conscious mind. He stressed that the subconscious does not respond to words alone, but to words filled with the feeling of truth. This is why someone may repeat, "I am healthy," thousands of times, yet see no change if inwardly they still expect sickness, rehearse symptoms, or cling to memories of past illnesses as permanent realities. When Charles referred to the scripture, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks," he pointed to this deeper truth. Words gain power only when they rise from conviction rooted in the emotional core of your being. In ancient wisdom, the heart is not just the organ in your chest, but the seat of belief, the storehouse of the subconscious, where the patterns of life are recorded and expressed. If fear fills this inner space, your words will reflect fear. No matter how carefully you choose your phrases, the tone and underlying emotion will reveal the truth, and the subconscious will respond by manifesting what it detects beneath the surface. This is why Charles often suggested using fear-neutralizing statements, affirmations that bridge the gap between your current state and the one you desire. For instance, if saying, "I am completely healed," feels untrue because illness still seems present, you might instead affirm, "Every day I am moving toward perfect health," or "the healing power of God is at work within me." These transitional statements are believable enough to bypass mental resistance while still planting seeds of health. As you notice even small improvements, your faith grows, and you can eventually affirm full health with genuine conviction. Charles compared this process to feeding the subconscious in measured doses, allowing it to absorb each suggestion without overwhelming disbelief. Just as a new sailor is not sent into a storm on the first day, the mind should not be forced to accept radical new beliefs while still anchored in the old instead. The shift is gradual, charting a steady course toward a new reality, reinforced by consistent repetition. In time, your words become more than hollow recitations. They become living decrees charged with conviction. The rhythm and tone of affirmations are also crucial. Monotone, hurried, or distracted repetition is like scattering seed on rocky ground. Some seeds may sprout briefly, but they will not last. Speak to your body calmly, deliberately, and with the confidence of one who knows they are being heard. Pause between phrases. Let the images form in your mind and feel the result as if it is already real. The body responds not to noise, but to belief as you practice. The difference between empty chatter and effective decrees becomes clear. It is not about adding more words, but about uniting thought, feeling, imagination, and faith into one. When this alignment happens each time you speak to your body, the subconscious recognizes authority and responds without hesitation. This is the art to be mastered, speaking in a way your body cannot misunderstand, in a way that carries the weight of truth. Before you can issue commands that the subconscious eagerly follows, you must learn its language. It does not communicate in abstract logic, but in vivid images and emotions that bypass argument and go directly to belief. Charles reminded his readers that the subconscious is like a child, literal, impressionable, and deeply responsive to imagery filled with emotion. Words alone, delivered without imagery, are often powerless, but when you speak in the language of symbols, sensations, and stories, the subconscious listens, accepts the message, and begins to turn it into physical reality. This is why Scripture advises, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets. The tablets are the receptive surfaces of your inner mind, and the writing is the creation of clear, emotionally charged mental images of what you desire to experience. If you say, I am strong, but still picture yourself weak, the subconscious will follow the image rather than the word. But if you affirm strength while vividly imagining yourself walking freely, breathing deeply, and feeling energy in every movement, the subconscious receives both word and image as one command. The art lies in clothing your words with imagery and saturating your imagery with emotion. Tell your heart it is steady and powerful while imagining its rhythm as an even, peaceful tide. Speak to your skin as radiant and smooth while picturing it bathed in golden light, vibrant with health. Address your immune system as strong while envisioning it as a joyful, harmonious defense alive, with energy and purpose. The subconscious delights in these symbols, holds them, and replays them in the body until they become lived reality. Charles compared this to the work of great artists and composers. They do not begin with rules, but with a vision, sound, or feeling that takes hold of the soul. From that seed, every brushstroke or note flows. In the same way, when you seek healing, you must first cultivate the inner image of health and let it fill you with the corresponding emotion. Only then do you speak not as someone pleading for change, but as one describing a fact already realized. The tone naturally shifts from asking to declaring. Your inner state shifts from lack to abundance, and your subconscious immediately recognizes this change in authority. As you go deeper into this practice, speaking to your body will feel less like giving orders to a machine, and more like conversing with a trusted friend or a beloved child. You will begin choosing words that encourage cooperation rather than resistance. You will also use images and metaphors that your subconscious understands. In doing so, you will realize that your body has always been ready to respond, waiting only for you to communicate in its own language. The language of vision and emotion, this is what makes healing not just possible, but inevitable. This is the gateway to emotional preparation, the step before clearing inner obstacles and creating the right mental environment for the healing word to take root. For a word of healing to truly sink into the fertile soil of the subconscious, the ground must first be prepared. That preparation means removing the weeds of mental and emotional interference that have long controlled the inner landscape. Charles Francis Haanel identified these obstructions as 4 toxic roots: fear, resentment, guilt, and inferiority. If left unchallenged, they choke out the growth of any new suggestion. These poisons are not temporary moods, but deeply ingrained patterns in the subconscious that sustain the very conditions you want to overcome. To speak of perfect health while holding on to resentment, or affirming strength while feeling unworthy inside, is like pouring clean water into a vessel full of mud. The result is not clarity but distortion. Fear is often the strongest of these poisons. It weakens belief and imprints the subconscious with the images you dread. If you fear illness, you imagine illness, and the subconscious, neutral and obedient, mirrors those inner pictures in the body. The way to dissolve fear is to confront it with truth, that the infinite life principle within you is greater than any condition, that the same intelligence guiding the stars sustains you, and that no disorder can erase the eternal pattern of health within. Speaking words such as, "I am one with the infinite healing presence. Divine love fills my mind and body with peace and strength," is like switching on a light in a dark room. Fear dissolves naturally in the presence of truth. Resentment is less obvious but just as damaging. It ties up energy by replaying past wrongs. Each time you revisit an old hurt, your body releases anger and bitterness, which disrupts its natural balance. Charles's antidote was forgiveness, not as a moral duty, but as self-healing. Forgiveness cuts the cord that keeps you tied to pain. You might affirm, "I release all who have wronged me into the light of divine love. I am free, and they are free. My heart is clean. My body is at peace." With practice, this brings inner release, and your body responds by letting go of the tension it has carried. Guilt works like an undercurrent of self-condemnation, a quiet but constant belief that you are undeserving of health, happiness, or even life. This belief directly blocks healing because the subconscious cannot deliver wholeness to someone it has been told is unworthy. The antidote is recognizing your true worth as a creation of the divine. You can affirm, "I am a beloved expression of God's life. I'm worthy of all good, including perfect health. I accept it now." With this truth impressed on the subconscious, the old pattern of unworthiness is erased, and the body begins to move naturally toward fullness of life. Inferiority is the last of these poisons, appearing as constant comparison with others. It is the feeling of being less capable, less beautiful, less strong. This belief signals the subconscious to treat limitation as normal and shapes the body accordingly. To overcome it, you must align with your true identity. I am made in the image and likeness of the infinite. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken. All that God is within me. This is not arrogance, it is alignment with the perfection of your source. When even part of these poisons are removed, the subconscious changes, the soil becomes fertile, the atmosphere clears, the inner light shines unobstructed. In such a state, the healing word is no longer just spoken, it is embraced and acted upon. This cleansing is preparation before planting the seed, so that what is planted can grow freely, and the body can respond as naturally as the earth responds to spring rain. In the chapters ahead, we will plant this seed, the healing word chosen with care, spoken with authority, and destined to appear in the body as living health. Once fear, resentment, guilt, and inferiority are cleared, even partly, the mind becomes like freshly tilled soil, open to receive the seed of new life. Here begins the sacred practice of planting the healing word. Charles often compared this to the parable of the sower, reminding us that the quality of the soil determines the destiny of the seed. A single phrase charged with faith and planted deep in the subconscious can produce a harvest beyond expectation. The healing word is not selected casually. It is not an empty sentence pulled from a list and repeated without thought. It is a living idea drawn from truth, simple enough for constant recall, and vivid enough to carry an image of complete healing every time it is spoken. When choosing your phrase, select one that naturally brings peace and certainty, one that feels personal to you, not borrowed from someone else. It should be short enough to speak in one breath, yet rich enough to stir emotion every time it is said. Charles often used phrases like, "Every cell of my body is made whole by the life of God," or "I am now in perfect harmony with the infinite healing presence within me." Notice that these affirmations are spoken in the present, declaring what is, not what will be. This is because the subconscious works only in the now. It responds to the picture you hold and the feeling you impress in the present moment, not to distant hopes or future possibilities. When you plant the healing word, the words themselves are just the outer shell of the seed. The true life of the seed is the emotion surrounding them. Just as a seed in soil needs warmth, moisture, and nourishment to sprout, the healing word requires love, gratitude, and repetition to take root in the subconscious. Speak your phrase slowly, letting each word sink in like gentle rain soaking into the soil. At the same time, imagine the condition already fulfilled. See yourself moving freely, breathing deeply, living with energy and joy. Feel gratitude as if the change has already occurred. This union of word, image, and emotion signals to the subconscious, "This is real. This is mine. Bring it forth." It is equally important to protect the planted seed against doubt and contradiction. Just as a gardener does not dig up a seed each day to check progress, you must resist the urge to seek immediate evidence or cancel your work with careless remarks. If you speak your healing phrase at night, but spend the day telling others how unwell you feel, you are planting and uprooting the seed at the same time. Instead, treat your healing phrase as sacred, protect it, nurture it, and return to it with devotion until it blossoms into form. Charles emphasized that the healing word is not about forcing health through willpower. It is about inviting the subconscious to remember its original design, the divine pattern of wholeness imprinted within you from the beginning. By speaking the healing word with conviction, you are not creating health from nothing. You are revealing the health that has always existed beneath temporary disorder. You are calling the pattern from the invisible into the visible, from potential into reality. This stage of planting is the bridge between preparation and manifestation. You have already cleared the inner ground of interference, and now you plant the seed with care, trusting that in the quiet of the subconscious night, it will germinate and grow. Soon, we turn to the most powerful ally of planting, the drowsy state between waking and sleeping. When the conscious mind loosens its grip and the healing word can enter directly into the receptive heart of the subconscious, this threshold becomes a sacred borderland where the chatter of the conscious mind fades and the vast openness of the subconscious lies waiting like a still lake at dawn, ready to receive what you impress upon it. Charles Francis Haanel called this the most powerful moment for transformation. In this drowsy state, the critical faculties, the constant guards of doubt and logic, grow weary and step aside, letting your healing word pass directly into the fertile soil of the deeper mind. If the daytime is for planting seeds in prepared ground, then the moments before sleep are the twilight that softens and moistens the soil, ensuring the seed swells and begins to grow. To understand why this is so effective, you must recognize the nature of the subconscious itself. It is not a secondary mind hidden in darkness. It is the mind beneath the mind, the ceaseless creative intelligence that shapes every impression into the fabric of your life. During waking hours, the conscious mind filters what reaches the subconscious through habits of doubt and self-talk. But as you drift towards sleep, that filter relaxes. The conscious grip loosens and the gate to the subconscious opens. In this quiet, every word, image, and feeling you bring forward enters freely and takes root. This is why Charles taught that the last thoughts before sleep should be those you want reflected in your life. If you fall asleep rehearsing grievances, repeating symptoms, or worrying about the future, you impress those very patterns into the subconscious, which then reproduces them faithfully. But if you enter the drowsy state with a healing word on your lips, an image of vitality in your mind, and gratitude in your heart, you give the subconscious a clear, direct command. It will work on that command through the night, influencing your dreams, coordinating hidden processes in your body, and arranging subtle patterns that bring your decree into reality. This practice is grounded in the psalmist's assurance that God gives to his beloved even in their sleep. It reminds us that divine activity is not limited to our waking effort. In fact, some of the greatest changes happen when we stop striving and hand the matter over to the infinite within. To lie down with your healing word is to place it on the altar of the subconscious, trusting the inner wisdom of God to carry out the work without interference. Your role is not to control how or when healing appears, but to rest in the certainty that it is already in progress. To enter this drowsy state consciously, slow yourself in the evening, dim the lights, quiet distractions, and settle into a comfortable posture that signals the body it can release the day's tensions. Breathe deeply, letting each exhale carry away stress and worry. As your body relaxes and your mind grows calm, bring your healing word to the center of your awareness. Speak it softly, perhaps moving your lips as Charles advised, letting the rhythm of your voice lead you deeper into rest. With each repetition, let the image of health become clearer, brighter, and more alive, until you feel you are already living in that reality. Stay with this practice until sleep naturally overtakes you without effort. Through the night, while your conscious mind rests, your subconscious remains active, nurturing the seed with the infinite life of spirit. When you wake, you will carry not only the memory of your healing word, but also the first signs of its unfolding in your body and your life. This is the gift of the drowsy state, the unguarded moment when the infinite reaches you most directly and the healing you seek begins its quiet, certain work within. Now that you understand the power of the drowsy state, you are ready to enter the first conscious connection with your body. This moment should not be rushed or mechanical, but approached with respect, patience, and quiet confidence, as if addressing a trusted companion. Charles Francis Haanel described this as the first contact ritual, a bridge between your conscious intention and the subconscious fulfillment of that intention. It is where your healing word meets the living temple of your body. Here you combine stillness, breath, inner imagery, and gentle affirmation into a single act that communicates your desire clearly. Choose a space where you will not be disturbed, whether before sleep or during a calm time in the day. Sit comfortably or lie down with full support, signaling to your nervous system that there is no need for defense. Let your hands rest naturally, palms open as a gesture of receiving. Turn your focus to your breath, not to control it, but simply to notice it. How each inhale draws life in, and each exhale releases what is no longer needed as your breathing steadies. Imagine it syncing with the steady rhythm of the universe itself. When the weight of the day begins to lift, allow a gentle smile to form naturally from the awareness that you are safe, supported, and held by divine intelligence. This inner smile is not trivial. It immediately signals harmony to the body, preparing it for healing. With this foundation, begin speaking your chosen healing phrase softly, almost in a whisper, as though sharing it with a close friend. The whisper carries symbolism. It is intimate, intentional, and direct, bypassing the conscious mind and reaching the subconscious more easily. Address your body with care. Speak to your heart, lungs, skin, and nerves, or to your entire being as one whole. Say, "Heart, you are strong and steady. Lungs, you breathe the breath of divine life. Every cell in my body is alive with harmony." Speak slowly, letting each phrase settle. As you do, feel the meaning behind the words. Imagine the cells awakening, organs aligning, and the body moving into its natural rhythm of health. Charles taught that tenderness toward the body is wisdom, not weakness. The subconscious responds poorly to criticism or force, but welcomes language of love and acceptance. When you affirm with kindness, you tell your subconscious that health is natural, every part of you is valued, and nothing is rejected. This creates the right atmosphere for transformation, where the healing word is embraced rather than resisted. Let your whisper fade into silence while keeping the image of your radiant self alive for a few breaths. Then release it completely, trusting the subconscious to continue the work. Know the seed has been planted. The message received, this first contact, is like the opening notes of a symphony, setting the tone for harmony and renewal long after the practice ends. With the first contact ritual established as a sacred meeting between your conscious intention and inner power, you are prepared for one of Charles' most transformative practices, luminous body visualization. This is not idle imagination or daydreaming, but the deliberate formation of a living image that the subconscious accepts as reality and works tirelessly to reproduce in physical form. Practiced sincerely, it imprints the divine blueprint of wholeness on the mind, guiding every cell, tissue, and organ toward that pattern. Begin again in a quiet posture, breathing smoothly, allowing your body to relax. Close your eyes and, in your imagination, see not your current reflection, but your perfected self, vibrant, free, radiant with inner strength. Let this image stand before you as though alive. Notice the way it moves with ease, how the breath flows naturally, and how the body carries itself with balance. Now bathe this image in light. At first, see a golden glow surrounding your form, emanating from within like sunlight through amber. Gradually let the brightness grow until every contour shines. Imagine each cell as a small lamp lit by divine life, glowing in perfect order and harmony. Move your attention through your body from the crown of your head to your feet, affirming, "Here divine light flows freely. Every cell is whole and perfect." Charles often recalled the Genesis command, "Let there be light," as the primal decree of creation. In this visualization, you echo that creative command within your own body. The subconscious is strongly drawn to light imagery, reading it as vitality, order, and life. By holding this vision, the deeper mind begins to align the body with it, repairing, strengthening, and restoring in silence and precision. Immerse yourself fully. Do not only see the light, but feel its warmth and vitality. Imagine it flowing in your bloodstream, nourishing your cells, calming your nerves, strengthening your muscles, cleansing your organs, and radiating through your skin. Picture your eyes clear and bright, your posture upright and strong. Every detail matters, for the subconscious responds best to specific impressions as you remain in this luminous state. Let gratitude rise, not for what you hope will come, but for what is already at work. Whisper your healing phrase into the vision as a seal. Every cell is alive with divine light. I am whole, I am radiant, I am free. Accept it as truth, not as a wish. When you finally release the image and open your eyes, carry with you a fragment of that light.